Okay, so today we're diving deep into the world of entrepreneurship.
All right.
We're going to be looking at Scott Gerber's Never Get a Real Job.
Okay.
And this is a book that basically challenges like everything we think we know about traditional careers.
Right.
Going to college, getting a job, working your way up the ladder. Gerber says that's not the way to go.
Yeah, he's really pushing back against that whole idea.
He is. So this is for anyone who's ever thought about, maybe starting their own thing,
Mm.
or even if you're just curious about what it means to kind of forge your own path.
Yeah, absolutely.
This deep dive is for you.
Totally.
So let's start with Gerber's main argument. Like, why does he think this whole real job thing is a myth?
Well, he basically says that in today's world, the idea of a stable job with a company,
Like a 9 to 5 kind of thing?
yeah, that's becoming less and less
Reliable.
reliable. Exactly. With the gig economy, automation technology constantly changing. It's just
Yeah.
not the same landscape as it used to be.
So he's saying that, like, job security is kind of an illusion.
In a way, yeah. He believes real security comes from,
Yourself?
yourself, your own skills, your ability to create something new, to adapt.
So it's all about taking control, becoming self-reliant.
Exactly.
And that's where his whole bootstrap philosophy comes in.
Right. Starting small, using what you already have, avoiding debt.
It's like the ultimate DIY approach to business.
I like that. The ultimate DIY business.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you see this everywhere now. Crowdfunding,
Mm.
the maker movement, lean startups. It's all about being resourceful and adapting.
Yeah, it's almost like bootstrapping has become a movement in itself.
Kind of.
And Gerber doesn't just talk about this in theory. He gives all these real-world examples of people who've done it.
Yeah, he tells that story about the guy who starts a moving company.
Oh, yeah, with just an old truck.
Just an old truck and a ton of hustle. That one's a classic.
Did any particular story or example from the book really stand out to you?
That moving company one is great, but there's another one that I thought was really interesting. Okay. It's about this woman who turns her love of knitting,
Knitting?
knitting, into a full-blown online business.
Oh.
She's teaching virtual classes, selling her handmade stuff. It just shows that bootstrapping isn't just about, being tough.
Right.
It's about using your passions and skills.
Can be anything.
Exactly.
So Gerber gets us all fired up about entrepreneurship.
Right.
But then he actually gives us some really practical steps to take.
Yeah, he doesn't leave you hanging.
He doesn't.
Yeah.
What did you think was particularly helpful in that section?
Well, he covers a lot of ground, creating a business plan, navigating those early stages.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, the thing that really hit home was his emphasis on building an MVP.
An MVP,
Yeah.
a minimum viable product.
Exactly.
Now, for people who aren't familiar with that term, can you just break down what an MVP is and why it's so important?
Sure. So an MVP is basically like the simplest version of your product or service that
Right.
you can get out into the world. It's about testing your idea, getting feedback.
Before you go all in.
Exactly. You
Ah.
don't want to invest a ton of time and money into something that people might not even want.
Right. That's smart.
Yeah.
Especially when you're starting out with limited resources.
Totally.
He also talks about avoiding some common pitfalls.
Oh, yeah, he does.
Those things that can really trip up new entrepreneurs.
Like thinking your market is bigger than it is, or
Yeah.
neglecting the financial planning side of things.
Or not being open to feedback.
Yeah, all those things.
Yeah.
But what's interesting is that he doesn't see these as fatal flaws.
Oh.
He sees them as learning opportunities.
You got to fail to succeed.
Kind of, yeah. It's about adapting, pivoting, getting back up after setbacks.
Resilience is key.
Definitely.
It seems like Gerber's advocating for more than just building a business. He's talking about building a sustainable business.
Right.
Something that aligns with your passions and can thrive over the long term.
And that's where the bigger picture of sustainability comes in.
Yeah.
It's not just about profits.
Right.
It's about building something that has a positive impact.
On your life, your community, the environment.
Exactly. And that's so much easier to do when you're actually passionate about what you're doing.
So Gerber's basically challenging us to rethink the whole career path thing.
Mm-hmm.
He's encouraging us to embrace this bootstrap mentality.
Yeah.
And he's giving us the tools and advice to make it happen.
He definitely gives you a lot to think about.
It does.
Yeah.
And it all boils down to this question. If you could build a business around your passion,
What would it be?
what would it be and why? That's a great question for our listeners to ponder.
Yeah. What are you passionate about? What
Yeah.
can you turn into something amazing?
Exactly. And for anyone who wants to dive deeper into Gerber's world, definitely check out Never Get a Real Job.
It's a great read.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into entrepreneurship.
Absolutely.
We'll see you next time.
See ya.